What if you had nothing to give except your words? Could stories feed a hungry stomach? One boy found out. Welcome back, friends. Today's story is about a boy who had no money, but a heart full of imagination. His journey will remind you that sometimes what we have inside us is more valuable than anything in our pockets. Stay with me until the end. The lesson might change the way you see your own gifts. In a quiet village lived a boy named Ravi. He didn't have parents. He didn't have money. Every day he walked past the bakery, his eyes following the golden loaves of bread. The smell of warm bread filled the air, and his stomach growled louder than the street vendors. He wished he could buy just one piece, but his pockets were empty. One afternoon, Ravi sat under a tree. A group of younger kids gathered nearby. They looked bored. An idea sparked in Ravi's mind. He stood up and began to tell them a story about a clever monkey and a lazy crocodile. He used his hands, his voice, his expressions. The kids laughed, they clapped, and when the story ended, one girl ran to her house and brought him a small bun. "For the story," she said with a smile. Ravi accepted it with shining eyes. At that moment, he realized something powerful. He did have something valuable to give. Day by day, Ravi started to trade stories for the things he needed. He told tales of brave kings to the tailor and got a patched shirt. He shared magical adventures with the fruit seller and received a juicy mango. He told bedtime stories to the baker's children and got warm bread in return. His words became his currency, and slowly, his life began to change. One stormy evening, Ravi was cold and hungry. He knocked on the door of a rich merchant, asking for shelter. The merchant looked down on him and said, "You have nothing to offer me." Ravi replied softly, "I can offer you a story." The merchant laughed, but then he said, "Fine, make me forget this storm for 10 minutes. If you can, I'll give you food and a place to sleep." Ravi stood near the fire. He began to tell a story about a sailor lost at sea, fighting storms and finding treasure. His voice rose and fell like the waves. The merchant and his family leaned closer. As the story continued, they forgot the thunder outside. Their faces were lit by wonder, not just by the fire. When Ravi finished, the merchant stood up impressed. He gave Ravi warm food, dry clothes, and a soft bed. For the first time, Ravi slept with a full stomach and a warm heart. Years passed. Ravi grew into a famous storyteller. People came from far and wide to hear him speak. But he never forgot those early days when stories were his only currency. Ravi's journey reminds us, your gifts are valuable, even if they don't come in the form of money. Creativity, kindness, skill, or time, these can change lives. You don't need to be rich to give. Sometimes the simplest gifts are the most powerful. If you were Ravi, what skill or gift would you use to help yourself or others? Tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. If this story inspired you, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend who needs some motivation today, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories every week. Your support helps us keep telling meaningful tales. And remember, your story matters.